Hello, we're back again with a movie review.
Blech.
um, Hopefully Tim pops up soon. He had to cancel, so fuck it. Me and Francisco moving forward. We're gonna do another one for you, and we're doing, I believe it was 1987, River's Edge, somewhere 86,
86,
somewhere.
87, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Kind of movie about outcast kids who listen to, I guess, heavy metal, and they get in a situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of a bad situation. But anyway, movie starts off with obviously a scene of a river and a little kid throwing oh, and Francisco's suffering a little allergies, everyone. So bear
Yeah.
with us.
Bear with me. I'm gonna try to keep this coughing to a minimum.
So starts with a kid. What I think he's like 12 years old or so. Looks like a little metalhead with his Def Leppard Pyromania shirt on,
Yeah.
throwing a doll into the river, which is kind of symbolic because the next scene is what you hear a guy scream, right, or moaning or whatever he was doing,
Yeah.
and the kid looks in and sees it, and it's a guy sitting there with a appears to be a dead body, a nude female dead body. So yeah, that's weird. So the kid goes and investigates, and he knows the guy, right? He doesn't, he sees him. He gets a closer look. I think he follows him right to the gas station,
Yeah.
and the guy's trying to buy beer or whatever. He's a kid, and dude, who is that guy selling him beer? Is he from Fast Times at Ridgemont High or
Yeah.
something?
That guy, you know what? I forgot to look that
The
up, but yeah,
clerk.
that guy has definitely been in a lot of other movies.
Yeah,
But
he was all of the '80s guy, man. Yeah.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, I
yeah.
know I seen that
I
fucking
know that
guy.
guy. Yeah, yeah.
So
I
anyway,
thought the same thing.
I was like, is he from Fast Times or fucking John Penn Bad Boys or some shit?
Something. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, the guy isn't selling him the beer, and he's arguing with the big guy. What's the big guy's name?
Uh,
John
uh, Samson,
Samson.
John,
Yeah,
but John. Yeah, they call him
yeah,
John.
yeah, because of toilet.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Anyway, he won't sell him the beer, but while they're doing that, the kid's playing some arcade game. I don't remember exactly, but he sees it and he goes and sneaks some beer into his jacket while the clerk's distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so basically, next thing cuts, and the kid put the beer in the guy's car, and what the hell happened next? He
Yeah, he
asked,
walks out. Yeah, he walks out. What's his name? Walks out and notices the John. He goes in his car and he sees a beer. He doesn't even think twice about it. He just
he just like,
pops it.
okay,
He
cool,
just pops it open and starts drinking the beer. He's like, well,
all right, magic,
I'm gonna.
cool.
There's beer. Yeah, there's beer here. I'm gonna drink it. I'm not gonna question where it
Yeah,
came from
yeah, exactly. It's
or
here on me.
anything like that.
And then the
Uh,
kid like says like you welcome him or something like that, up in the window and hops in.
yeah, yeah. He starts talking to him.
Yeah,
Uh, and just trying to be his friend or whatever, because he's like, uh, this movie's basically about loser kids. You know what I mean? That are
yeah.
considered like loser kids by
Hollywood standards, I guess.
yeah, 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 exactly. Like, I
It's
guess
it's
the
totally
thing with this
exploitive
movie,
of,
yeah,
yeah, it's total
most of
exploitation of the '80s.
most of the like teen movies were most of the kids were you know what kids that were had everything, and they had perfect lives and good parents and this and that, and this one is like
This is one of the
just
ones where they show you like
the
dysfunctional fucking families to the
yeah,
max. Yeah,
exactly, yeah, like single parent household with like a stepdad or mom's
hmm
boyfriend living in the house and being a total dick and all that
yeah,
stuff to them.
that type of stuff they didn't like to make movies about back then, really.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
you were getting John Hughes movies mostly back in the day,
Yeah,
16
painting
Candles.
painting pretty pictures and all that, but
Yeah,
this was more real or more you know gritty.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure people like me and you who grew up, we probably knew people that were in those type of situations.
Oh yeah,
I know
yeah, yeah, yeah.
rung familiar with me. Not saying I fucking knew someone who left a dead body hanging around by a river all the time, but you know,
Yeah, but
there
those
was
kind
still
of
Yeah,
those kind of kids. Yeah, yeah,
they were around, you know.
yeah, for sure.
So anyway, they do they go to see what's Dennis Hopper's name?
Feck.
Feck. I was gonna say something else that sounds close to that, but I'm like, nah, that's not it. Anyway, they go to see him, right? Or
Yeah,
but it doesn't work out or something.
yeah.
Uh,
What's his name? Uh, Crispin Glover Lane, who's he's just rules makes this movie pretty much. You
yeah,
know,
his acting's awesome.
his acting is amazing, like everything he does. But yeah, Feck is that. Well, actually, the first time they go there, they go. Uh, Crispin Glover and Keanu Reeves go over there looking for weed
First thing
before
in the
they go to
morning.
school. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they're
yeah.
going to school and they try to go get weed from him, and that's when he pulls the gun out
He
of
just
him
answers the door with the gun in their
with
face.
the gun. Yeah, yeah. He tells me, I killed a woman before or something like that. He goes, yeah, I know.
I know. And yeah. And he's like, "Well, you
Yeah,
want to come in?" And he's like, "Well, no, we got to get going, but if you could give us that joint or whatever,
yeah.
that
He
would be
wanted a
cool."
couple of joints or whatever. He goes, all right, what do you want? What do you want?
Oh, that's right. Infect doesn't charge him.
No, he just hands them to him.
Yeah, that's why they were like, fuck it, it's worth it. So yeah, he gets the weed. He goes and gets the weed for him, and he gives the thumbs up to Keanu Reeves waiting at the car, and like, all right, cool, they got their weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, it was like I said, that kind of shit is like
very familiar situations when you were a teenager.
yeah, I mean, that's totally relatable, you know. That's
Yeah.
shit that happened. Like I said, we knew people that would definitely, be doing something like that. I
So
remember like even as far as like middle school, they were in high school, I guess, even in middle school. I
middle
mean,
school, yeah,
kids were already smoking weed and
it
you
was
know,
where I lived in. There was a long trail that you could cut through to get to the middle school and the high school.
yeah.
So this trail was wooded, but it was a trail. So of course everybody was smoking on the way to school on the trail. So that's the way it was, no one saw
Yeah,
them.
it's true.
Yeah. So anyway, they get the weed and they head off, right? So what is the next thing? They cut to them at the high school already?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
already hanging out or whatever. But that's when they introduce like the other
The rest of
friends.
their crew and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
And Samson John just walks up drinking the beer on the school grounds, right? He's like,
Yeah.
all right. And they're like, I'm like, okay, that's just wild. And
Yeah.
they when they ask him what's up, and he goes, oh, I killed I already forget the chick's name, and he goes, I killed blah blah blah.
Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody at first is like, oh, shut the fuck up, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you're lying.
Yeah, they're lying, and most people don't believe them, but they go and check it out, right? Crispin Glover and Keanu Reeves go with him to see the body. Is that what I think that was the next scene or somewhere?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So and you could tell John's not right.
No, he's
he's lost. He's not right in the head. So they go and check the body, and of course she's dead. And you could kind of see it on Keanu Reeves' face. He's conflicted, but he doesn't want to say anything. But Kristen Glover's like, oh shit, we gotta. He jumps into like, we gotta fucking get John safe mode,
Yeah, he jumps into what the fuck do we got to do to make sure our friend doesn't get in trouble.
Yeah, so he starts coming up with a plan.
Yeah.
What's
funny?
What's
funny is he asked Crispin Glover asked him why'd you kill her, and he just said she was talking shit.
Yeah,
that was his reason.
Okay,
that was his reason for killing her. Like nothing.
Yeah,
he was cold blooded. He didn't have any feelings.
No remorse. He didn't even think about it.
No,
like he played it like he actually enjoyed it. So
yeah.
I think we need to kind of cut back to them introducing the little kid was Keanu Reeves' younger brother.
Yeah, that's
before he got picked up.
Yeah, he was just a little troublemaker, and
he's a little jackass, but he was like 10 or 12 years old with that, and that's where they kind of introduced the broken dysfunctional familyness of their household. That
Yeah.
the doll was the little sister's doll, and she was upset, and Keanu Reeves knew he was the one who probably got rid of it and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, they let's get back. I think what happened is this is where he's kind of gets the ideal. No, they remember they go. They want to. Next thing they do, they want to show the whole crew the body.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the rest of the rest of the friends, and they're like, ah, you didn't fucking bullshit.
Yeah, and
Y'all
everybody's
just
like, well, and they cut to the guy working at the fast food place. That poor guy,
Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
He has one of the best. I think he's one has one of the best lines of like of the movie. Whenever what's his name, Lane Crispin Glover goes over there to because he's got like a truck or whatever, and they need a that's their friend, and they need a ride, I guess, to because they don't all fit in his
they needed a truck,
his bug or whatever. Which
Yeah.
the bug, to me, the bug is another character of the movie because
Dude,
that bug is like in every scene. I think
that bug is like the Cuda and Phantasm. It's just like it's their version.
Yeah,
of
it's a major character in the movie. I think
It's pretty cool too. I forgot about them bugs back then. Everybody used to
kind of like with
hot
big
rod them
tires
up
and
and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so Lane goes to the to his friend's restaurant to try to get him to take him over there. He's like, somehow all these kids like do whatever the hell Crispin Glover,
He's the
Lane,
ringleader for sure. Yeah.
they do whatever. He's like, I'm not gonna go. Next thing you know, they're going. But we'll get back to that line when he's telling them no. He goes, N-O spells nuh-uh. So it just made me laugh whenever that Mike guy just tells him that. He's like, and the next thing you know, he's like, God damn it. So
Yeah,
they take
next
off.
scene they show it like it cuts to him driving like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Do this again because he doesn't want him to drive. Kind of remind me of Ferris Bueller when he's fucking pressuring Cameron.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, they all fucking go and look at the dead body by the river's edge, and sure enough, there's a dead body. And we get introduced to the I forget what happens to some of them. I kind of like the fast food guy is the one who basically like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Crispin Glover.
He's like, you crazy motherfucker. Like what Crispin Glover's, I mean, he's got a ton of great lines, but he's like, you crazy motherfucker, John. He's so fucking good in that movie, man. It's like,
he's getting ready to kick that dude's ass, the fast food guy, and John just kind of comes and bear hugs him, like
grabs him and throws him.
He wants to leave. He doesn't.
Yeah,
care.
it's funny because Crispin Glover's all tough and shit, and what's his name just throws him like a rag doll.
Yeah, he's like
falls on the ground. He's like, he's trying to play it off, act all cool or whatever.
Yeah, like okay, boy, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So I kind of like too, like some of the scenes with the teacher. When they're in class and thing, and the nerd Kevin.
Oh yeah,
violence, and they're like, "Shut the fuck up, Kevin."
yeah. The teacher, like, everybody's like just free to do, free to say whatever. Say and do whatever you want in the class because he was like, he wasn't even really teaching any kind of curriculum. I think he was just.
He's like,
was he talking about like the hippies or something like that, and the Vietnam or something?
That they changed the world and all that.
Yeah,
and that's when the yeah, that's right. Because then the teacher said, sometimes the cops would come out with the clubs, and basically they would take a beating, and that's when the nerd Kevin goes, well, but what about the violence? And they're all, shut the fuck up, Kevin. And the bell rings.
Yeah, well, and then that one guy says, but anytime you like take down a pig, it's fucking cool or something like that. Whatever the line is. Yeah. So that was that was pretty funny.
So what happens next after they go and get everybody kind of goes their little separate ways, knowing the situation now with the body.
But nobody like comes forward and says anything. Everybody just kind of keeps it to themselves, which is funny because, well, it's not funny, but because they just leave the body there for a while until because they leave it in the same place as he left her or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. It's,
But then Lane is like Crispin Glover. He's like, all right, nobody's gonna fucking help me. I'll do it myself because he's just dead set on like not getting his buddy caught. Because what's the he's always saying something like, you don't understand a goddamn thing or something like that. You know,
yeah,
he's like he seems to be the only one that thinks that you know that his way is the only way, and
yeah, for sure.
everybody else is dumb as fuck, and he can't comprehend why nobody wants to do exactly what he does.
Well, you know, that's right, because I think he's driving back later on, and he's with Keanu Reeves, and he's like, "We don't need to panic. Nobody needs to panic." You know, and Keanu Reeves is like, "Okay, you're the one."
Well, he is a speed freak too, which they kind of
that explains his.
Yeah, he's a total speed freak because they even like somebody calls him like I think something like a speed freak or something like that. Somewhere in the movie. But yeah, he's super paranoid. So
and while we gotta admit too, while all this is going on, basically Slayer's first 2 albums are like the soundtrack of the movie.
Oh yeah. Well, the first time I ever heard of this movie was I heard there was a soundtrack with Slayer. First thing I ever knew.
Yeah,
or heard
I remember
was
that
like
too. Back in the day,
Slayer's like the soundtrack is like I had it in my mind that the whole soundtrack was just like Slayer or whatever. But you know, it turns out it was like
there's
Hallows Eve and who else? Agent
Trouble?
Orange.
Okay, was there Trouble in there or
no? Maybe Fate's Warning or something.
Yeah, it was some power metal type of.
Yeah. But the first song you hear, which going back to his bug is Tormentor, I think by Slayer. Slayer. Yeah, you hear like afraid to walk the streets in the coldness all alone, and he's just fucking cruising in his bug and jamming Slayer. But yeah, that's one of the first things I ever heard about. Like when I heard about this movie way back when was. There's a movie with just like Slayer as the soundtrack. I'm like, what? Yeah. That's fucking wild,
I remember reading that too somewhere, when the zines back then. So, of course, we were already sold on going to see it. It had Slayer in it. Like,
right.
Slayer's
yeah,
go.
That's it. That's all you needed to hear, right? And yeah. So, where were we?
Pretty much after they kind of go their separate ways after the body. And doesn't Crispin Glover get the ideal? Is this where he takes them to Feck, John?
Yeah. And then he because even John didn't even care. He's like, whatever.
John was just like,
he's like, if I get caught, I get caught. I don't give a
whatever.
Fuck. Yeah. He was like, he's just a kid that he's like, my life is going nowhere, right? So although he was close with his mom because he's like, I gotta go home and
that's right.
Read to my mom or something like that. He was supposed to read her a book.
Taking care of him, cooking dinner and all that. So like he did have some humanity in him,
Yeah,
that's right.
But he didn't even want to go to I guess dispose of the body.
He didn't care if it was. I think he probably wanted really someone to discover it.
Yeah, of course.
Just go to jail and get it over with or whatever happened.
Yeah,
I guess we that's kind of where we find out more about Feck and his backstory when he takes him.
yeah, because they walk over to his house and he sees him like dancing with his blow up doll, right?
His blow up doll girlfriend.
Candy or what was the name?
I forget, man.
I think it was Candy or something.
That sounds about right. And he's in love with that doll. I mean, that's obvious. He's put his emotion into it.
Yeah, this is Dennis Hopper, which I found out. I'm like, how the hell did they get Dennis Hopper in this movie? But turns out, I guess he had gotten in some kind of trouble or something like that. Like,
oh, really?
Before that, and he hadn't been doing much. So apparently this was like one of his like comeback kind of movies.
Try to make a little comeback.
Yeah, where it's like, it's not really a big budget kind of thing, super Hollywood or whatever,
No, not at all.
And So that I'm guessing that's how they got him, because I'm like, Dennis Hopper was already pretty fucking huge by then, you know.
Yeah, he was a
But
world famous movie star by that time.
yeah, and it's funny because they make a reference to Easy Rider, which he's
Yeah. Oh,
in the
because they asked
movie.
him if because he has the the peg leg wooden leg, and
Yeah,
he takes off. It has the boot on it, and
yeah,
he was like a biker back in the day.
yeah, yeah. And then like one of the kids is like, when they're talking about, when they're like outside the school and they're talking about going somewhere, like everybody putting their money together and they're going on a trip or whatever. One guy's like, yeah, like Easy Rider, but with like us five or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
it's
So
like that was like a
I,
little Easter egg thrown in there.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
hey, look, I say that's kind of neat. So,
So
but
yeah,
yes, go ahead.
so John and Beck finally meet, and he tells him like, I what no Crispin Glover's telling him basically John's situation, right? That
Yeah,
he killed someone, and that's when Beck tells him too, I killed someone too, and had her right there, and put the gun in the back of their head and blew her brains out.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm-mm. And it,
yep.
and John says they're dead face, like okay,
Yeah,
okay,
he goes, what do you say? I just strangled mine or something like that. He
yeah,
tells Feck that. And Feck's like, I loved her. And he's like, did you love her? He's like, John's like, she was okay. Or
yeah,
something, just something stupid, something silly like that. Total psychotic shit.
yeah, just emotionless, whatever. So
Yeah.
don't they cut back to Keanu Reeves back at the house, and that's when the him and the little sister he did. Oh, aren't they making a like a little grave for the doll, the little
Yeah,
sister?
yeah. She's trying to make a little grave in the cross, and he buries it there for her, or he sticks the
He's
cross in the
helped her
ground.
out a little, yeah.
And then that's when he's like, I don't want to help Lane out anymore. So he hides from him at his
Yeah, that's
house.
right. He shows up and he tells her to say, "Yeah, man, tell her I'm not here. I mean,
Yeah,
tell him
yeah,
I'm not here." And he still comes in
yeah.
to the
He
house,
goes,
uses the phone.
yeah, yeah. It was
He,
it was one of the another one of the classic Lane lines is whenever he tells him he's gonna help John out or whatever. He goes, all he's asking for is like a 6-pack of beer for like helping him like get rid of the body or whatever. And then when John gets him the 6-pack, it's like Michelob or something like that. He goes, he says something like, I thought I would have deserved like a Bud Light, something like that. And
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, and he drinks and he's like, it's warm
It's
even.
warm.
Yeah.
And
So
is
fucking
that when he
good.
goes on that rant? That's what's wrong with this country. There's no loyalty, and it's
Yeah.
going downhill.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What is it? What is that fucking line? Fuck, I had it here.
Oh shit.
That's the one. That's that line. Oh, here we go. It's like you people that are sending this country down the tubes. No sense of pride, no sense of loyalty, no sense of nothing, man. So
Sounds like a future MAGA speech in the making right there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He was but yeah, he just genius in this movie, man.
Oh yeah, that dude in that time he was a cutting edge actor.
He had
That's
just
who
done
was
Back to the Future.
yeah. I mean, when I start talking about that's a funny one too, man.
No, no, that's
Back
one
to
of
the
my
Future.
favorites.
Yeah, Kristen Glover's fantastic in it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this was Keanu Reeves' first movie.
Dude, yeah, he's fucking baby face in this shit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And you know what?
funny.
It's funny because he's known for being a terrible actor. He's not that bad in this movie. Like,
Well,
like super bad.
well, he's not bad when he basically has to play himself.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he
I
was
think
good in this and
and
Bill and
Bill and
Ted's.
Ted, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
So
there wasn't a lot of acting chops needed
he's like
in the,
fucking he's a stoner kid, whatever.
yeah.
So what happens now? Isn't that Keanu Reeves does he make turn them in yet, or is it the scene? Don't John and Feck go to the convenience store to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
their
There, he's like, man, I need some fucking beer or whatever. Let's go
yeah
make a beer run. And it's like after 2 in the morning, and that same guy happens to be in the fucking store again
yeah,
still.
and
Uh,
they John has the gun this time, right?
yeah, yeah. He's like, I'm not going to sell you anything after. He's got a cool line because that guy tells him, I'm not going to sell you anything after 2 a.m. He's like, well, he points the gun at him. He goes, I'm here to turn back time or whatever, you
Yeah.
know. And I was like, hell yeah, that's badass.
And of course Feck's like, ah shit. This is going south, this whole
Yeah, yeah.
situation.
Well, he just goes back there. He asks him for something silly. He's like, you have any whatever? I forgot what he asked him
Yeah.
for. So, but yeah, that's when they run into Keanu Reeves and that girl, uh,
What that girl kind of
Clarissa.
was she supposed to be Crispin Glover's kind of chick at the beginning of the movie? I don't know.
Yeah,
Not
sorta,
like
yeah,
yeah, not like it, but it was like kind of, and she's like,
yeah. It was kind of hinted at because she
yeah.
says, yeah, you should see him when he's by himself or something like that. He doesn't act like that. And
So and
well, speaking of her, dude, one of the best lines too is whenever uh, Crispin Glover, Keanu Reeves, and her are in the car, and that
uh-huh.
they all, and then they go to somebody's house looking for somebody or whatever, and that guy comes at him with a gun. Remember that man they were going to somebody's house, and
Damn.
that guy's like
Blanking.
sitting there, and he's like comes out with like this fucking shotgun and starts shooting at him or whatever. And she's like in the car waiting for him, and she
Yeah.
like takes off in the bug or whatever. And then they're running and they run into her and they trying to chase her down and then they finally cut to where she stopped. She had stopped and they're in the car with her. He goes, you didn't have to yell fucking bitch or something like that. He's like, well, I was trying to get your attention. He goes something like that. He goes, in those kind of times, someone doesn't have time to be careful with choosing their words or something.
Yeah. Oh
Something
yeah. Okay, now it's coming back.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
class. That's
Great
another
stuff.
classic line. That's another classic line by Crispin Glover.
So
And
from pretty much from this point, um Keanu Reeves decides to turn him in, right?
yeah,
Yeah. He's like he makes the phone call to the cops and
that horrible cop.
that dude's a dick, man.
Yeah.
So they obviously they go out to look for the body. Well, Kristen Glover dumped it in the river.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had kicked it down. Yeah, and they found it
But
eventually.
it ends up it just floated across to the other side or something. It didn't go very far, and they're like,
Yeah, they found it rather easily. Yeah.
yeah, and they're like, okay. So they take Keanu back to them, I guess, to the station, and they start questioning with all these classic cop lines and basically trying to get him to say he did it. So they don't, so cops don't have to figure out anything as usual. It's like,
Yeah.
well,
He's like,
you're
I
the only
didn't
one
do it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that was a
Keanu
pretty
Reeves does
hilarious exchange. Yeah.
some explosive acting.
Yeah, some Oscar-worthy fucking acting on that in that fucking scene. Yeah, the acting's not horrible, but there's some parts where, like the
Yeah,
lady
yeah.
that plays his mom, she's horrible. She's not very good.
Oh, remember we forgot to talk about when Keanu Reeves it makes the media and he goes back to the house. The stepdad is finally around.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you and your friends are on TV and all that, and what the fuck are you getting yourself into? And they start arguing, and of course it has some classic dysfunctional family that have a stepdad. He's like, oh, you're just here to fuck my mom and eat her food and all that. And she's
Yeah.
like, no, stop. And, yeah.
Yeah. That's when she goes into this. I can't take it anymore, and she's like,
Yeah.
she does this horrible. And she's like, I don't even want you were. She's like, you were all a mistake, and just some hardcore shit,
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Really bad after school special acting on that part.
Yeah. That shit. It's fucking. It's so bad. It's entertaining. Her
And that's
part.
when Keanu Reeves sees his sister outside. My cat's freaking out trying to escape my room. Sorry, cat. Anyway, um, the grave that they made for her doll is broken,
Yeah.
and he goes, he's like, "Whoa, shit," and he goes to kind of comfort her, and then he knows it's his little brother that did it.
Yeah. Oh
So,
yeah. 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 He beats the shit out of him.
yeah, he sees him come up, and he's like, "Hey, hey," and the kid's like, "Oh shit," he knows he's pissed at him, and he
Yeah.
chases him down and he kind of kicks his ass for being a dick to his sister.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the stepdad comes out, pulls him off of Keanu Reeves, and the wife's telling him, "You let them both go," and he's like, "I don't fucking care," or whatever. He's like, just he doesn't want the mess. He's like, I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's letting them
Yeah.
go.
Exactly.
So yeah,
That's
so the kid's pissed now. His little brother's pissed at Keanu Reeves. You got to set up
yeah.
that part of the plot. He's
Yeah.
got
Yeah. Yeah.
got busted his nose or whatever. So what?
He calls his
John.
friend. Remember, his little brother calls his friend, and then like,
That's right. His little
where
fucking
where where does this little 12-year-old kid? He's like steal your dad's car and get the nunchucks, and I'm like he's like this little 12-year-old kid that like
yeah
steals a car, has all these
nunchucks.
he like has all these weapons or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck, And then they go looking for him. I guess they went to Fex
Yeah,
and they like trash Fex place or whatever, and uh, so it was that
they
part was
basically they basically hide out at Fex.
yeah, they do waiting for him. Yeah.
It's because the mom comes down to the police station. I'm assuming, and gets him out of jail, and that's when she has you haven't checked in. You don't know where your brother is, and
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
it's like, oh, he's all right. He can handle himself. Whatever.
He's like a little 10 to 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, just out on the streets. Get laid.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
late
his
at night.
master plan.
He has no idea where he's at. Doesn't care really.
Mm-mm. So
So
they Feck and John end up down at the river again,
oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
Right, and they
yeah,
start talking about things, and John really just starts losing it. He's yelling fucking loud as he can. I don't remember exactly what he's saying, but
and yet
he's
shooting the
he's
gun.
yeah, shooting the gun off and making the scene, yelling, and fucking Feck's like, fuck, you know. And that's where they go into that conversation even deeper about loving, you
Yeah,
know, loving the victims they killed. And John basically tells them, I enjoyed it.
yeah,
I don't care. I enjoyed it. And Feck's like, well, I know, I loved her, and Feck, of course, has this blow up doll with him the whole time.
yeah. He's a little psycho too. But
Yeah, he's
yeah, Feck
crazy.
is like he's like this motherfucker here is crazier than I am.
And I guess we got to kind of explain. I don't think we explained it. Feck's been in hiding for 20 years
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for the murder of that woman, his girlfriend, I guess,
Which
at the time.
which which is one of those things in the movie where I'm like, really, this guy's been in this house for where these kids know who he is, and the cops can't find him for 20 years.
Yeah, but the kids all know
Yeah,
the
the kids all
story.
know. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But
Just go to
somehow,
Feck's and get a joint. But yeah, somehow the police can't figure it out.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
we'll just
Feck is like, well,
gloss over that plot hole. Okay, whatever.
yeah, yeah,
So that's when Feck John's like, I don't got any friends, and he goes, what about Lane? And he's like, Lane's an idiot, basically, and he can't. He's gonna send me off to live somewhere else, for 20 years. I'm gonna end up being like you.
yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
ouch.
He's like, I don't want to be like you.
Yeah. So that Feck says, okay, man, I'm your friend. I'll help and all that. While all this is going on, Keanu Reeves ends up hooking up with that chick.
Yeah, yeah, in the
And
park or wherever they're at.
yeah, they start having their they do their thing or whatever and stay the night out in the park. And I don't remember their conversation. It was kind of hokey,
Yeah,
whatever,
it was just
hokey love stuff or whatever.
yeah, it was
So
nothing.
what is it like? Maybe like probably like 6 in the morning the next morning. It shows them laying there, and he's kind of groggily waking up, and you hear a gunshot.
Yeah, yeah,
Bam,
yeah.
breaks
Yep.
the silence in the air. And he's
Yep.
like, what? Oh, what the fuck is that?
Yep.
And what happens next? His little brother is still hanging out at Feck's house with his little ninja friend with the nunchucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It shows Fex is coming home early in the morning. He's by himself, and
Yep.
he he comes through the door, and the friend of the kid pops him in the head with a nunchuck.
Yeah.
Pow!
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then Keanu Reeves' brother's like, hit him again.
Hit him
Pow!
again. Yeah.
These little
It
fuckers
knocks his ass out.
knock this guy out. They start
Yeah.
scavenging through his shit, and they find his gun. So now they got the gun, and that would make cut from that. His little brother has the gun.
Yeah.
Well, and what happens now is they all show up. They all like come back down to the river, right? Basically, everyone. Oh no, we gotta go backtrack. Remember, Lane Crispin Glover passes out
Oh yeah, they find him on
on
the
the street.
road in
Yeah,
his car.
passed out.
Yeah.
So the cops get him and they take him in. And then I think he's trying to start knocking everyone out. Not knocking them out, but like telling on them, basically kind of everyone gets involved in the crime, like the whole group of kids, right?
Yeah.
Because they start questioning them. The body is known now the next morning. It makes the paper. Oh, that's right. When Feck was walking back up, he was looking at the newspaper and it said body found in river already. So
Yeah.
he's like, shit. So yeah, that was before the kids knocked him out. That was literally right before he was walking in the house. He read
Yeah.
that.
After he had killed him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And remember the media's at the school talking to the group of kids, and that one with the Motley Crue shirts is like when they're like, this side's fantastic, man.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
He's like, yeah. Well, when they're like, why didn't you say anything? He's like, well, you're kind of torn at the moment, and
Yeah.
whatever. He's just trying
Yeah.
to make
I
excuses.
know John and I know
I don't,
Jamie, and it's like I didn't want to,
don't want to really narc or whatever. He goes, but and then it's out of the blue. He goes, I play guitar, by the way.
Yeah. 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 Classic.
He's trying to get his
Classic
15
'80s
minutes.
rocker.
Yeah, he's trying to throw it out there. Hey, if anybody's looking to form a band, I play guitar, by
Yeah, I
the
play
way.
guitar, by the way. Yeah, that's right.
And
Classic line. But
then,
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's all good. Is this where they cut next to that same teacher in the classroom again, and they're
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
discussion about what happened?
About what happened, and he's like all mad and shit.
Yeah, and I forget. Kevin the nerd has to say something again about society breaking down and this and that. And I think the
Yeah.
teacher was
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to make a point how it there was one of the lesser known kids was there too of their
Yeah.
little
He was talking.
group.
He was like, he goes, shut the fuck up, man. He goes,
Yeah,
leave it. Why don't you just leave it alone or let it
yeah.
go or something like that? Some total like stoner type guy or whatever. And
But there, the teacher freaks out on Kevin for saying things. He's like, grabs his chair. He's like, "Whoa, Kevin, that's fucking blah blah blah." And I just like, I don't even remember what he said. I just started laughing because Kevin's just like, he just gets put
yeah,
in the
yeah, it's
spot,
funny.
man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and the chick came in that
Yeah.
Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves was with. She had,
Clarissa. Yeah.
yeah, Clarissa came in, and that's what kind of got the whole conversation a little more intense, I think, because
Yeah.
she's more heavily involved. So the kids all end up right back at the scene of the crime, basically.
Yeah.
They're all back there, and that's when Crispin Glover like finally is freaking. He he's
Yeah.
like
They hear him
his
like
whole,
yelling.
yeah, and his whole plan's finally falling apart. Nothing's working out,
Yeah.
and him and Keanu Reeves clashed the hardest, obviously. And
Yeah.
he's like saying, "You don't even care about John. Why the fuck is this so important to you?" And this and that. And Christian Glover and Christian Glover's way, like, "You don't fucking know, man."
Yeah. You don't know a goddamn thing or whatever.
Yeah, he fucking runs off, and Keanu's going to go after him, and Clarissa's like, just let him go, So
Yeah.
whatever. And then they hear him do a kind of a death yell,
Yeah. Yeah.
ah!
Ah! Yeah. Yeah.
And they all come over and look. Well, that gunshot he heard in the morning was John getting taken
Yeah.
out. Apparently, Dennis Hopper Beck shot him,
Yeah.
killed him.
Yeah. They don't show it, but yeah,
They don't
that's kind
show
of
it. Yeah, that was all that was implied for earlier
yeah.
in
It was
the.
implied, yeah, that he had done it.
So, um, yeah, and then they show the cops kicking open Feck's door, and he's still laying there from being knocked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Like fucking. I forgot how many hours later he's still
I don't
knocked
know
out.
how long that is. That he's still on the ground, like oh.
I'm like, hold on, how long has he been there? Like all this shit happened, like hours and hours have gone by, and he's still knocked out.
So anyway, cutting back to the scene, you think that's all over, and
Yeah.
then boom, what happens next? The little brother shows up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh shit, he shows up with a gun.
Yeah, he pulls out the
Confronts.
gun, and he's like, he's gonna fucking kill his brother, and he's like, "What are you fucking doing? I'm your brother, man.
Yeah, I'm your brother,
What,
man.
what
I'm
the
your brother.
And he's like, you're a narker. You traitor. You sold
Yeah,
them
traitor.
out.
Yeah,
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 something like that. Yeah, traitor. And he's like, dude, I'm your brother. Put the gun down. And the kid, luckily put the gun down. He didn't kill him. And then I believe all the cops start showing up, right?
yeah, yeah. They show up.
Yeah, the cops show up. Detective
They
Hardass
found
shows
John.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
they throw them all in the back seat. And
yeah,
I think that's they cut from that scene to Feck in the hospital, right?
yeah.
Giving his statement basically to the press about everything, and he was like, he didn't love her. I'm like, bro, I don't know if you loved your chick either. You blew her head off,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, but he obviously is gonna get in trouble for all the things he's done, and
Yeah,
cuts from there to the funeral scene, correct?
yeah. Like open casket funeral or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, because they were talking about that earlier in the movie, open
Yeah.
casket funeral.
It's like that's fucked up or whatever. And
Yeah,
they all still go and pretty much how it ends, I think.
yeah, it ends with them doing a zoom in on her in her casket.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
which that girl probably had the easiest acting job in the whole movie. She got the later dead. That was a nice check for her, I'm sure. Well, she
Yeah.
had to go totally naked, so that was me.
Yeah, they probably paid her a little extra for that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's a cool movie at the time. It's definitely an '80s vibe to it. And,
Yeah.
the performances, are sometimes are a fucking hit and sometimes they're missed. But
Yeah, Dennis Hopper and Crispin Glover are great throughout the whole movie.
yeah,
They're both fucking great.
and I love Crispin Glover like mullet thing going on too.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the whole like 80s like metal fucking vibe they have or whatever. It's,
Totally.
For us, people like us, it's cool. It's like
and a lot of people like they try to rewrite history and show like kids like with really long hair and all that. And usually you had these fucked up normal haircuts that kind of grown out a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't like fucking Skid Row and all this shit.
No. It was like that. They had fucking like
so
mullets.
so when you see these kids in their hairdos, that's kind of how it looked, man. With
Yeah, it was cool.
everything.
I mean, it was 86. Yeah, mullets were huge in 86.
And totally the leather with the denim vest over it.
Yes, totally, man. And I think John had like a Number of the Beast.
Yeah,
He had like a Beast on the Road tour shirt, like the whole movie, I think.
Yeah, he didn't look like
None of them ever changed wardrobes.
And I love they all have like dirty hair, man.
Yeah,
Dirty
exactly.
hair. And that was true too,
Yeah, they were scummy guys,
Just thinking about
just scummy guys because they
smoking.
whenever they go back to school the next day, whenever they're Keanu Reeves and that girl like slept at that park, they just get up and go to school the next day, right?
Yeah.
He's like, "You want to shower?" And they're like, "No," and
just going to class.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this movie's. I hadn't seen it. I saw it a few days, but this movie's definitely one of those like cult classics that
Yeah, it's definitely a cult classic for sure.
that
And that, I mean, definitely if you're any type of metalhead, there's got to be something in there you can relate to,
yeah, I mean
from it.
it's if you grew up around that time, you it's like we said, this is it was pretty accurate, you know.
Pretty accurate. Yeah, I would say
You
so.
know, the
And
whole thing about none of them having money for like gas for the car and like, hey,
totally,
you know what I mean? It's like, hey, how much money
totally.
you got for gas? All that stuff.
That was
That's
true,
real.
man. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
real. Me and my friends used to like, hey, how much you got? You know, give me whatever change you got or whatever. And it'd be like we'd end up with like $4 worth of gas, and that would be like,
But
you
back
know,
then that could get you to and from,
no, that would last us all fucking weekend,
Yeah,
and
that could get you to and from. Yeah, because everybody be, fine on pawning up something or to get some money or do, whatever you had to do to get the money to do what you needed to do back then.
yeah. And the
Yeah.
guy, one last thing, the guy that directed it, fuck, what was his name? Anyway, he ended up doing a lot of shit. I ended up like looking it up.
Uh-huh.
He did like a lot of TV directing, like a lot of TV. He did a lot of movies, other movies, but I couldn't remember anything that was like, oh yeah, he did that. But he did like direct episodes of like Law and Order and shit like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. Tim something. I can't remember his name right off the
Well,
bat.
we should also say too at the time of this recording, you can watch this thing on Tubi for free. So if
Oh
anybody
yeah,
wants to
yeah,
watch it,
that's
just go
right.
over to Tubi and it's free right now. If you're watching
Yeah,
this, 5 years from now, well, I'm fucking sorry, but at the time of this, we're recording this, you can watch it for free. And
Tim Hunter. Tim
you know
Hunter,
what I,
that's the guy.
we forgot to mention too, kind of right at the beginning of the movie when the kid hops in the car with John, doesn't he find like a pair of panties? And he's like,
I
he's
don't
like
know. I don't
awesome
remember.
or something like that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, yeah. He gets in the car after he got him the beer, and he puts those like panties or something. He's like, awesome, and okay, that is keep on rolling.
That little kid, yeah, that little kid. He was just. I mean, he was okay in the movie, but there's one line where he's like, "I'm dying for a joint." He's like fucking 10 years old or whatever.
It's like,
He's like, "I'm dying for a joint, man," or whatever. I'm like, what?
yeah,
This is just so fucking. But like I said, it wasn't. When I was in middle school, there was already kids,
yeah,
12 years
yeah.
old, like getting high already.
The in some areas I grew up in, there was that type of dysfunctional family, where
Yeah, totally.
kids were out all night, and I'd be like, they'd be like calling me and saying, "Hey, 11:30, we're gonna go over." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think my parents are gonna let me split out 11:30 on a school night or whatever."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
wasn't cool like that. All right, well, that's that's it for River's Edge, and hope everybody gets a chance to watch it. Thanks, Francisco. Um,
Yeah,
as
dude,
you
this is fun.
As usual, I gotta plug Francisco's channel, Jamming Out All Badass. Where can people? I'll put a link in here, but where can people? How is it? Java one.
Joel. Oh yeah, you if you just type in JOABA like in the YouTube search, all the videos and stuff will come up. But
Yeah,
yeah, the channel is JOABA1,
and
the numeral one. But yeah, you could just search it like that, Joaba, JOABA, and it's a lot of you'll see a ton of videos pop up or whatever.
yeah, he interviews all type of people from underground music, from
Yeah,
death metal, black metal, grindcore, and
yeah.
don't forget Frasier. You can Frasier makes many. I don't even want to say it. Just watch it if you. You'll know what we mean by Frasier. He's
Yep.
great. All right,
Cool.
everybody. All right, well, we're out later. And of course, I never have this queued up, right?